Hey, welcome to our Monday afternoon live broadcast. Thank you so much for popping on with us. Today we are going to be talking about, or I'm going to share with you, my recent colon cancer scare. I'm going to share with you some of the things I went through and the life that I've lived and why it was such a scare for me. So hopefully this will give some woman out there watching some courage to go out and get her colonoscopy done, or maybe just some ahas about what it is we can do to prevent things like colon cancer, or at least go out and get ourselves screened. So my name is Diane. Thank you again for joining us, whether you're jumping on live or you're catching us on the rebroadcast. I always ask, if you're a first-time member here, that you hit that subscribe button on YouTube or that like button on Facebook, and make sure you are set up to get notifications so that you do know when we are live. This is also a very interactive type of environment, so please leave your comments and questions, or just say hello when you jump on, so that I know that you were here. That also applies to my rebroadcast viewers, because I do circle back around and check questions and comments from people who've jumped on the rebroadcast as well. So my name is Diane. I have been working in the health and fitness industry for pretty much half of my life. I have been a group fitness instructor. I have been a runner. I have taught nutritional courses. I am the kind of poster child of what it means to live a healthy and active lifestyle. I now teach that environment, or that way of life here in this environment, through the practice of intermittent fasting and living a keto-like lifestyle, and listening to signs and signals that your body is sending you, so you can live your best life, look your best, feel your best, and do it all in a very authentic way. When I went to have my colonoscopy done, it's been, I think, 2 weeks now. It was one of those things that I felt a little bit guilty about doing, because I was 2 years behind schedule. You're supposed to go get your colonoscopy done on when you turn 50. I got super busy with work and everything that I'm doing here, and I just sort of let time escape me. And we were gearing up, for the end of this year with all of our insurance and all of those kind of things, and I was having some digestive issues going on as well. And so it triggered me to make a phone call to get my colonoscopy scheduled. And during that phone call, they asked me a series of questions, and I had some things going on, like I said, digestively. So they suggested that I go in and have, a talk with someone. Here it's called the Digestive Disease Center of Dallas. So I went in and talked to one of those doctors. I don't know why. I don't know what their specialty name is. Do you know, Michael, what colonoscopist? I don't know what it would be called. The person who does all the digestive type of medical work. Anyways, so I went in and talked to this doctor. I told him about some of the things I had going on, and it was kind of related to what I was doing in my running side of life. I'm training, or was training, for a half marathon. I was having some issues when I was out on a run, and it seemed to be digestive in nature. So talked to him about all of those things. He didn't think that I had anything that I needed to be too worried about. I'll go into that stuff when I talk to you guys on Wednesday. But he said, you definitely want to get your colonoscopy scheduled. So we scheduled it for probably a week later. Went in for my colonoscopy. He knew my history, so he knows about the fact that I live a really healthy lifestyle. He knows I teach healthy living to other people. And he knows what, I'm 52. I have no medical conditions. Anything that I have that I'm fighting or battling or suffering from, everything was pretty good, other than what I had going on with my running. So when I go in for my colonoscopy and I get pre-screened, and he comes in and he talked to me before I, went under, and he was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a piece of cake. You're going to be one of my atypical type of patients today. We're going to be in and out of this thing, no problem. Next thing I know, I'm waking up, and he walks in and he says, well, you weren't one of my atypical patients. He said, at the time, he said, I found 6 polyps, and several of them were large in nature. He goes, you most likely will be able to come back in 3 years. He goes, but I really want to wait until we get the results back from your from the pathology lab. And he was like, I was really shocked with what we found. So, I'm trying to be like, oh, okay, thanks. And I go home and I was worried. I was like supposed to be the person that was going to come out of a colonoscopy with 0 polyps. I mean, I've done all the work. I have no risk factors. I've lived this lifestyle of being very self-aware of the choices that I made and being very conscious of living a healthy lifestyle. Why would I have polyps? I've done every detox, I've done every cleanse, I've done everything I can to make sure that I would avoid this in my future. And colon cancer is not even anything that was on my radar. It's not a family type of situation I have to deal with. There's none that I know of in my family history. So I had no issues at all. Michael had his colonoscopy. He had 2 polyps. 3 small polyps. He was a year older than I was when he had his done. Why was I the person that had so many polyps and large in nature? Who knows? And that is exactly why I want to really dive into this a little deeper. I talked, I think it was last week, about my colonoscopy prep and what I did to make sure that I was prepared for this colonoscopy. What I want to really get across to so many women who are going to watch this, hopefully, you know, for months and months to come, it's going to be posted in a permanent part of my social media, is do not take your chances. Something like cancer in general is that thing that is no longer a typical person's type of situation. There are so many factors now that play into cancers in general that we can no longer just depend on a family history or genetics or even lifestyle as the things that are either going to keep us safe or put us in that danger zone for cancer. The reality is it's just out there. So we need to make sure we are doing all of the right things. We want to make sure that we are very aware of what we're doing in our lifestyle to put ourselves at the high risk of being cancer-free, or being in a situation where you have several polyps and they're large and suspicious in nature, but end up coming back with a pathology report that says there is 0 cancer present. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the very typical type of risk factors for colon cancer, and then some things that we can do to prevent it. And then I'm going to talk to you about what I believe put me in this situation of being cancer free, and how it is we should be living our life around these types of situations. So let me get my glasses on, because you know I can't read anything without my glasses. Okay, so risk factors for colon cancer that you cannot change. So age is one of those things. Risk factors go up the older we get. For most insurances now, 50 is the age where you're eligible for a colonoscopy. I highly, highly, highly recommend that as soon as that becomes eligible for you under insurance, that you go get your colonoscopy done. Do not get busy. Do not delay it, because you do not know what's going on inside of your body. And it is one of those kind of things that is a silent sort of disease that creeps up on us. Not all people with colon cancer actually have signs and symptoms that it's there. I didn't really have anything that I had some polyps I need to be worried about. And so if you have the opportunity to do any sort of pre-screening, you definitely want to take advantage of it. On the other side now of the experience of a colonoscopy, I got to tell you, with all the money that I've spent on cleanses and all the money that I've spent on detoxes, that colonoscopy prep was the best thing that I have ever done to cleanse my system. And it was covered under my insurance. Nothing else I've ever done has been. So for in the least, just do it for the cleanse. The cleanse completely changed what I had going on in my digestive system. I feel like it corrected a lot of things that just seemed sort of out of balance, and actually has helped with some of the food sensitivities that I had been suffering from for many, many years. So in the least, go get your colonoscopy so that you can have a cleanse that's covered by your insurance and could really help you feel some relief in what you have going on in your digestive system. So age is one of those things. History of polyps. So now I am in a position where I am at a higher risk of colon cancer just because of the fact that I had polyps removed and the size and number of polyps that I had also puts you at a higher risk. So you want to know if those polyps are there, and you want to get them removed so that they do not end up growing into something that would be problematic for you down the road. The longer they're there, the deeper they get, the bigger they get, the more problematic they can be for you down the road. So you want to get them found, and you want to get them out of there. If polyps are larger than 1 centimeter, you have a higher chance of that polyp being cancerous. I had 5. They originally said 6, but my pathology report came back as 5. Listen to these numbers, people. 1 millimeter was 1. The other one was 6 millimeters. The third one was 8 millimeters, and I had 2 at 12 millimeters in size. 12 millimeters in size is 1.2 centimeters. Those are the high risk size of polyps. So a 12 millimeter polyp, I wear this bracelet right here. I think these are 8 millimeter little circles here. So just imagine what a 12 millimeter polyp would be like in your colon. I had 2 of those, and they were in 2 different places within my colon. So 2. They were removed, and they had to actually be clamped. That's how deep they had to go in to get those removed. So having polyps also puts you at that higher risk. The size of the polyps also puts you at a higher risk, and that's something you can't change. Once they're there, they're there. Again, time makes them grow. So the sooner you get them removed, the sooner you stop them from growing. And then, of course, the number of polyps that are found also increases your chance of having colon cancer. And they say more than 2 puts you at a higher risk. So get those bad boys out of there. So those are the things you can't change. Those are just fact. That is what it is. Here are some things that you can change, or some things that you can do to lower your risk of colon cancer. And again, family history is also one of those things that you just can't change, but I'm going to talk about that when I get done with this other part. So things you can change, or things you can do to lower your risk of getting colon cancer. 1, get screened. 2, if you have polyps, get those bad boys removed as soon as possible. You want to make sure that you are not overweight or obese. That is just one of those things that increases your chance of getting just about any sort of cancer. And we're not even talking about any other kind of problems that being overweight or obese can cause us as far as health and wellness goes. Physical inactivity. So having a sedentary type of lifestyle also increases your chances of getting colon cancer, but that is something that you can make a decision to change. Diet high in red or processed meats. So if you have a diet high in red meat, or you have a diet high in processed meats, then you also have the chance, a higher risk of getting colon cancer. Again, one of those things that you can change. I personally believe that the higher quality of meat that you consume could also be one of colon cancer. But again, it's one of those things that you have to research what kind of meats are out there. We do eat minimal red meat in our life, but we do make sure it's grass-fed and it's grass-finished, so it's the highest quality red meat that's out there. And we just recently started eating red meat, so I don't think that red meat was anything that had to do with my having polyps. Smoking also increases your risks of getting colon cancer. Also one of those things you can make a decision to change. And heavy alcohol use is also another one of those things that increases your risk, but you have a choice to change that as well. Heavy alcohol use is anything over 1 alcoholic drink per day for women and 2 for men. So think about those times when you open up that bottle of wine and you have 1, 2, or 3 glasses of wine. Again, it's that thing that can just increase your chances of getting cancer. Here we're talking about colon cancer, but again, it's any type of cancer.
And what is a glass?
A glass is like 4 ounces, I think, or 6 ounces of wine. Not the glass the size you buy when you're out, not the glass you pour when you're at home. So remember, a serving size is what we're talking about here, not a full glass of wine. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind as well. Really, if you pour yourself a glass of wine at home, it's probably 2 or 3 servings, and you probably do it more than once. Guilty of doing that myself. Type 2 diabetics and people with insulin resistance also have a higher risk of colon cancer. If there was anything that I felt was high risk for me in getting polyps, I would say it was probably the insulin resistance and the pre-diabetic state that I was in a few years ago. And I say insulin resistance because that is the only thing that I have carried with me my entire life. And so I believe that that was probably one of the high risk factors for me that probably had me in a position where I had more and large polyps when I had my colonoscopy. And then family history, and then sedentary lifestyle. I think I already talked about that. Those are all those things that we can change. We have the power to change everything that I just said. And it's through research, investigating, implementing, tweaking, and then creating a lifestyle for yourself that will put you in a position where you have the power to determine what it is you're going to have to live with throughout the rest of your life. When I found out I had those polyps and they were that size, of course I came home and Michael and the kids went to bed and I got on my computer and I was like, what does all of this mean? The great thing about colonoscopies, I'm not going to show you guys in detail, but that's my colon. They show you where your polyps are and they describe what section of your colon that they're in. And I was pretty shocked that mine ran throughout my entire colon. And it's really cool that you can get all that terminology and you can start looking some stuff up on the internet. What I like to do in those types of situations is really research what the possibilities are and what my options are. And so I thought to myself, okay, worst case scenario, this pathology report comes back and it says I have colon cancer. What am I going to do? And I told my family, I said, what I'm going to do first thing is check myself into a fasting clinic for like 30 days. And I know 2 clinics and I already had them researched and I was going to check myself in for 30 days and just fast whatever was going to, cause me problems away. And the reason I knew that's what I was going to do is exactly why I'm having this conversation with you guys here today. The pathology report came back and said, I don't have colon cancer. And I strongly believe that the reason that I had all of those high risk situations inside my colon and why they came back cancer free is because of the lifestyle that I've been living, because of the fact that I put myself in a position of self-healing every day. The fact that I got rid of my insulin resistance situation, the fact that I got rid of my pre-diabetic state, the fact that I am living a lifestyle of renewal, basically, and of anti-aging. Yes, I'm 52 years old, but man, I don't feel 52, and I'm not the typical 52, and all of the things that were creeping up on me as I started to age are no longer even around to be creepy. They're gone. And I believe that I'm sitting here today telling you that a very scary situation that I kind of sat on, for a week came back so positive because I took all the risks away. I've taken all the risks away. And I continue to live this life of being empowered and taking control of my health. And I know for a fact through all the things that I've studied that I am not having to deal with the scary situation because I put myself in a situation where it doesn't have to be scary. One, I make sure that I'm living the healthiest life that I can live and I'm doing it most authentically. So I'm not sitting around here moaning and groaning all day about the things I can't do and the things I can't eat and the things I can't have. I have everything that I want because I created my own lifestyle through trial and error and listening to the signs and signals that my body is sending me. And I allow myself the things that make me happy based on how I want to look and feel so that I can be authentic. And I've educated myself. And I talk about this a lot more in my course, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. I talk about it a lot there when I say I have cards in my hip pocket that I can pull out in the time of need. And those cards are full of resources on how to heal my body in a very deep and serious way if need be. It's how to consume nutrition so that I can fight off something that might come in and attack me. unexpectedly. I know of places where I can go to get help, so that if I were to have to go get some sort of treatment or go through some sort of series of medical tests or a series of healing through the medical community, I'm going to make sure that my body goes in as healthy and prepared and armed as possible, so I don't come out of that situation worse off than I went in. And that is really the message that I want you all to take away today with. And that is, regardless of whether you feel like you're at high risk or not, if there's a screening test available, go get the screening test. Don't let fear or embarrassment or even lack of resources keep you from getting yourself screened. There are so many ways you can get a screening test taken care of if you just do the research and don't feel like you're alienated or being victimized by a system or whatever it is. Go get yourself a screening and get it when the industry says it's supposed to be done for you, so you don't have to sit around worrying for years when you don't need to be. Get yourself in the best possible position pre-test. So make sure you know what all the things that you're supposed to do before you go in for that test. Tomorrow is my breast cancer screening, and they say flat out, do not wear deodorant, do not put lotion on, do not, all the things they say not to do. And you make sure you do all those things that they say in all your pre-screening appointments, to make sure that you put yourself in the best possible position to get the best screening result as well. Make sure you're armed up in your brain about all the resources you have available to you, all the options you have available to you, and all of the preventative things that you can do even in the worst case scenario. There's so many options even after someone has been diagnosed with something scary that you can put into play and start exercising to start healing your body before you have to go through any sort of deep chemotherapy, radiation, all of those things. There's some resources that you can tap into before you have to go that route to really prepare your body if need be. So I was scared. Honestly, I was scared. But I didn't let being scared paralyze me. I used that energy of being scared to really empower me and energize me into looking at what all the options could be in the worst case scenario. So I had a plan of attack. And trust me, there's a really nice place in Florida right on the beach where you can check yourself in for however many days you need to, and it will help you monitor your fast and really get your body into a place where it can do some really good healing. And I truly believe that's why I have this platform here. That's why I live this lifestyle. This is why I teach it to so many women. I believe that fasting can really give your body an opportunity for some self-healing. Of course, I am not a doctor. I am not any kind of naturopath. I'm just a woman who was sick at one point and got her body to the point where it's not sick anymore. I just narrowly escaped a really bad report from a pathologist about what my colon cancer could have been for me. I had all the signs. I had all of the facts of I was a cancer patient based on what my polyps were and based on what some of the things I had going on and based on what they were able to find inside my body, and I'm not. And I do truly believe that it's the lifestyle that I live, it's the attitude I have about life, and it's the things that I've really been able to implement and take advantage of in my life. And I also believe that I have this purpose that I'm living out here to really help educate other women to take care of themselves as well. And so my job is not done here, and I have a lot of work to do. And so for that reason, I think I was spared as well, because I need to prove that this works and that you can live this lifestyle and you can have a very healthy and energetic way of aging if you choose to make the choices that will get you there. I truly feel I'm getting younger. I have energy. I'm healthy. I have optimism. I have hope. I have all the things that we had in our youth. And if you feel like that's slipping away, trust me, you can get it back. But it does take making decisions, doing some research, and putting the work in to make it happen. It does not happen on its own. You have to be the person that is going to make it happen. So if you're past due for your colonoscopy, you better get off this live and you better go make that appointment. Get it done. It is such a great peace of mind, and it's such a freeing feeling to know that everything is going to be okay. And you don't want those haunting feelings and the feelings of guilt that you're putting something off to be the thing that's going to suck the energy and the life out of you. Life's too short to live that way, and you really should be living free of all of those types of guilts and energy drains. So I'm going to welcome everybody on YouTube. If you've had your colonoscopy, put a comment in the comment section. If you need to get your colonoscopy, put a comment in the comment section, because we're going to be following up with you. Make sure you get that done for sure. Okay, so YouTube, Mindy's mom. Oh no, you're a cancer survivor. Lynch syndrome. Yeah, I learned about Lynch syndrome in my research as well. I have to have a colonoscopy annually for the rest of my life. Otherwise, my chances of getting colon cancer again are 85%. Yeah, girlfriend, if you're not already intermittent fasting, I would highly recommend looking into it. It is one of those things that really has just been proven more recently than it has in the past, that it really is an opportunity for your body to really heal itself. And I think, you know, when we think about constantly eating and constantly digesting and constantly having to rid what it is that we're eating out of our body system, then it's constantly working and it's constantly an overload, and the quality of food that we're processing is just different than it was in the past. And so we want to make sure that we're really thinking about putting nutrient dense foods in our body, and then just giving our body a break every now and then, and not constantly having to put it in that work mode of processing and eliminating and processing and eliminating. And there is really nothing better than just fasting, for sure. So Mindy's mom, keep us posted and make sure you're getting those colonoscopies. And if there's anything that we can do to help you here, please feel free to reach out. Frank, were the polyps? I don't know what that means. Please always look before you flush, and please do not just assume that you have hemorrhoids. Exactly. And I know that that was one of the signs and symptoms, was that if you had blood in your stool. And like I said, I didn't have any signs or symptoms of anything, and I ended up not having colon cancer, so that's probably why. But yeah, you always want to be very self-aware. You want to be very tuned into your body, and that's why we say that one of the great things about intermittent fasting, or fasting in general, is that energized sense of calm that we get, and that ability to just really hone in on what our body is trying to tell us. And I think sometimes we get so bogged down by feeling bad and being inflamed and not having energy and feeling so hopeless that we tune out those signs and signals. And there's this definite heightened awareness of our body's systems and our body's chemistries when we are in that fasted state. And I think that's exactly how we're supposed to be living. We're supposed to quiet it down, and we're supposed to listen up and really tune in to when we feel good and when we feel bad. And let me tell you something. You know when you're not feeling good when you feel amazing most of the time. And if you walk around feeling crappy all the time, you have no idea when crappy gets worse, because crappy is just crappy. So really try to figure out how and what it takes to feel amazing, and then do everything you can to hold on to that feeling. And then when you have a day when you don't feel so great, then you want to really listen in and tune into what that feeling is. Donna, what is the difference between fasting and just not eating? Fasting is when you put yourself into a cellular healing state, and not eating is when you do things throughout your day that cause you to not be in a fasted state. And it could, for some people, it's as simple as putting coffee creamer in their coffee, or having a bulletproof coffee, or having apple cider vinegar and lemon in their water first thing in the morning. All of those things are not fasting. And so you want to make sure that you know the difference between not fasting, and then understand what it feels like when your body is in that self-healing state. We talk about it as autophagy. We talk about it as the energized sense of calm. There's lots of ways to describe it, but there's a definite difference between not eating and fasting, and you have to be able to tune into that and recognize what that feeling is when you're really in a fasted state of healing, for sure. Donna, I've had my colonoscopy Awesome, Donna, congratulations. Trudy, I've had my colonoscopy last year and 5 years before. A little scary also, but test came back okay. Awesome, Trudy. And good for you for making sure you went back and got it done that second time. Michael and I have it on the calendar. We're going to do it every 3 years as suggested. I don't ever want to be in that position again. And God knows how long those polyps have been sitting there. And they're gone now. And I just want to make sure that they stay away for sure. Kara, thanks for jumping on. Conlee, thanks for jumping in. Lindsay, hello. Christy, Laura, Amy's here. Diane's here. Lisa's here. Dawn, hello. Diane is here. Judy, hello from Australia. Sandy from Maryland, Holiday Mini alumni and current November course member. Awesome. Sandy, good to have you back with us. A urologist. A urologist, is that what a person who studies your digestive system is? A urologist? Oh, gastroenterologist. There you go. That's what it's called for sure. And I do still have a couple tests I have out. One, I had this test for celiac, just because I have such a hard time with gluten, came back negative, not a celiac. So that was cool. Now if I eat gluten, I just feel bad, but it's not going to kill me. So that was good to know. And then I also have another test that's out as well. And they're testing me to see if I have an intolerance to fructose, sucralose, and some other thing. But I have to wait 14 days after my colonoscopy to make sure, I guess, that my gut is back to processing normally and is not as clean and efficient as it is after your cleanse. I don't know, but so in 14 days or probably another week or so, I'll do that test as well. And they just kind of want to see how my body is responding to certain foods with sugars in them. So I'll keep you guys posted on that as well. And it was cool. All I had to do was ask for those tests when I went in, and I pretty much told them I have all these food sensitivities, and I just kind of want to know if it's true, like chemically in my body, or am I going crazy, or should I just avoid these foods or whatever. And he was really cool about running all of those tests for me, so I'm super excited about that. Sylvia, I'm new and part of the November IF for Aging Women course. Awesome, girlfriend. Georgianne, hi everyone. Getting over the flu. Oh no, girlfriend, fast, girlfriend, and get that flu out of your system. Sandy, hello. Maria, January graduate. I've had 2 colonoscopies from diagnosed with ulcerative, I think it's called, colonitis. That's part of that Lynch syndrome as well. All those digestive syndromes and disorders were all part of that Lynch syndrome. It was interesting. I'm symptom free. Awesome. Because of IF and healing my inflammation and feeling so good now. I rarely eat red meat, but only high quality, and eliminated all processed foods. I'm definitely in control. Yeah, Maria, good for you, girlfriend. And that is key, is making sure that we're getting really good food in our system. And yeah, high quality meat for sure. Andrea, hello. Deborah, can you tell us where those clinics are at some point? Oh yeah, one's in Florida. Just Google fasting clinics. There's not very many of them. One of them was in Arizona, and one of them was in Florida. And the one in Florida was like at a Marriott hotel or something. It was pretty interesting, but it was right on the beach. So I was like, see you guys later. I'm going to go to the beach for 30 days and just drink water. And then the other one was in is Arizona somewhere. So literally I Googled fasting clinics for healing, and those 2 are the ones that came up for me. So just definitely research them. And you can go for like a week. You can go for 3 days. It sounds like it would be a really cool vacation to have someone kind of like keep an eye on you and do nothing but drink really good water and have like minerals IV'd into your system or whatever for a couple days. It sounds great. They also do like juice cleanses and stuff like that there as well. But it sounded great. They had lots of like yoga and meditation classes. It seemed really cool. But just Google fasting clinics for healing, and you'll see what comes up. There might even be something more in your area. Lori, you've had yours. Congratulations. Mary, never need to get it done. Need to get insurance first. Yeah, Mary, check out some places too and see if there's some sort of, I know there's like even pre-colonoscopy screenings. They do like stool sample tests and stuff to see if there's like blood in your stool. And those are like pre-tests for colonoscopy. So that might even be a good screening that you can do. And I know a lot of those you can just get done online. It's like a kit they send to your house. You kind of do your sample thing and then you send it back in.
Cologuard.
Cologuard, I think it's what it's called. Again, Google it. Google, home tests for colonoscopies and see if you can just order one online and then have it sent to your house. You do it, you send it back in, and you'll get your results. So you don't always have to go for the big one as a pretest. Because if it comes back saying you're fine, then maybe you can put off your colonoscopy, for sure. Tammy had mine, then got me started on IF. They got you started on IF. Is that what you were saying on that one? And then Georgianne, I'm insulin resistant and wasn't aware that I needed to get the examination. I'm 48. Yeah, so I think some insurances or some places you look say 45 is the new suggested age for colonoscopies. And then other places it's 50. So I think as long as colon cancer is on the rise, they're probably going to start lowering that rate. Hopefully, things won't change with insurances there. And then Sylvia, you've had yours as well. And let me tell you what, I wasn't scared of cancer itself. I'm not scared of cancer itself because I do all the things to stay very self-aware. And I know that if I ever got cancer, I would fight like hell to survive. So that's my mindset with cancer. And I research everything, and literally I will just go to a camp and try to water fast it away or whatever. What scares me about cancer is once you're diagnosed with cancer, then you have those pre-existing condition situations, or your insurance is going to drop you, or you can't get insurance, or you're going to financially sink your entire life into preventative medical type of a curing kind of things, and then you come out of that completely destroyed as a person. That's what scares me about cancer. What I can control about cancer doesn't scare me at all. And seriously, with what I know about this lifestyle, with what I know about fasting, extended fasting, I would fast first before I ever went the medical route. Again, I'm not a doctor. That's just me. That's what I would do in my situation if I had a choice to fight something like cancer, is I would go the holistic route 100% as long as I could. And if for some reason that wasn't working, then I would default to medical. But again, the medical part of it scares me, not because I'm afraid of dying of cancer or I'm afraid of fighting cancer. I'm afraid of the aftermath of it. Never being able to get insurance again, pre-existing conditions, what it's going to do to my family, what it will do to us financially. That's what scares me about cancer. And that's really why I try to keep myself in a very healthy place and do everything I can to make sure that I am fighting the good fight, healthy, and or if I was ever diagnosed with anything. So even if you're a cancer survivor or if you've been diagnosed with cancer, do your research. There are lots of really good information coming out. You always want to, listen to what your doctor says. I never say, that you shouldn't listen to the medical industry or those kind of things. I'm not hating on that. But I do think that we, especially with this age of information and this opportunity we have to research and the opportunity that we have now through science, that we really have the power to take things in our own hands. So don't be afraid, be empowered. Don't be afraid, be in a position where you can take full advantage of all the options that you have, and then make sure you have that peace of mind by getting yourself screened as well. So I hope this helps women go out and get themselves screened. I hope this helps you feel like you're in control. And I also hope that this helps you feel like you have some options as well. Let me see what we got here. Jenny, True North Health Center in Santa Rosa, California is a famous fasting center. Heard so many things about it. Well, that's awesome. And Santa Rosa, California is a great place to go. So that might be an option. Trudy, I forget, does apple cider vinegar and bone broth break your fast? Everything breaks a clean fast except water. Some people's body chemistry can tolerate things better than others. So if you're fighting something like life or death, don't tempt anything but in your system. Just do water. If you're trying to cure something like diabetes or insulin resistance or foggy brain or some of these aging type of things, you want to clean fast as long as you can until you start to see those things reverse. Once you're in a maintenance sort of state with your intermittent fasting, you can try to play around with some things if you want, but I gotta tell you what, Michael and I are at just hit
24.
Just hit 24 hours of clean fasting with a workout. I worked out today and I walked my dog. You guys, I feel amazing. Why would I ever want to put anything in there that could knock me out of a clean fasted state? I feel fantastic. We're about to go break our fast with our break fast shake. We're going to probably have a little meal tonight with Gabby, and then we're going right back into it for another 24 hours of fasting, or maybe 22 or 23. I don't know, just whenever we decide to break our fast tomorrow. But I'm not lacking energy. I'm not starving to death. I'm not feeling like I'm going to chop off my arm. Once you get some time and consistency under your belt, don't tempt anything. The best thing for your gut, the best feeling, or the best thing for your healing, the best thing for your body cells, the best thing for your mitochondria, the best thing for your brain is nothing. Nothing for as long as you can handle it. And 24 hours is really what the window is for intermittent fasting. So don't test it. It's not worth it. Jenny, there are some great articles online about using diet to prevent colon polyps. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to do definitely more research for sure. And you know, I always try to find that fine line between extremism and living my life authentically. So there's so many things I've already given up that I'm sure that I'll be better off 3 years from now. One of those things is being realistic about the alcohol consumption, right? Glass of wine, serving of wine, and just really trying to keep yourself as healthy as possible. So continue to research. If you guys find out more information, share it with me. I love reading articles and watching YouTube videos and getting as much information as I can. And then I'll continue researching myself and pass off anything that I can to you guys in this environment here as well. Remember, as a community, we're stronger. So we want to make sure we keep each other informed, and we share off any information that we have for sure. Donna, Donna Moore, email me that question and I'll answer it there for you, because I have some differing opinions on that depending on what your goals are. So I don't like to just blanket give out information there. Okay, thanks for jumping on today. I did title this so that you would click on and watch this video. It was a scary, probably 4 or 5 days for me, just because I thought I was going to be polyp free, like free. They weren't going to find one polyp in me, because I've done all the things that they say you're supposed to do in a lifestyle to make sure that I was going to be polyp free, and it didn't turn out that way. But the end story was I'm fine. And I do believe that my lifestyle has played a factor in the fact that I am fine. So don't let even some scary tests coming back make you feel like you're needing to throw in the towel. I always suggest that you amp things forward even deeper and farther into the healthy lifestyle that you're living, to just make sure that you continue on this path of looking your best, feeling your best, and living your most authentic life. Thanks for jumping on. If you guys have any personal questions that you maybe want to ask me offline, always feel free to email me. Continue to share your stories here, because your story could be that story that could change and or save someone else's life. So always feel free to leave some comments for us in the comment section. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day.